Well, today I'm out back getting my electric fence all set up back on the food plot. I've only done about a third of an acre here as far as the size of this electric fence enclosure. And I just planted my buckwheat inside of it. That'll be my summer cover crop. I'll eventually plant turnips in there later this summer, but for now I want to smother the weeds and control weeds with this buckwheat cover crop. If I don't put the electric fence around it, the deer will have it mowed off and just won't let that buckwheat grow at all. The part of the country where I'm in, north central Minnesota, and actually this spot where our homestead is void of any kind of commercial ag. You got to go several miles in any direction before you hit a cornfield or a soybean field or something like that. So being that it's just big woods, this buckwheat, when I plant it, it's like absolute candy to the deer. It's just irresistible for them throughout the summer. So I've tried doing buckwheat here without an electric fence, and it does not work at all. The deer will just have it mowed down, won't let it establish at all. I'd have about 12 big does out here every night, does and fawns, just keeping my buckwheat completely mowed off. So I'll show you my setup just real briefly, and then I'm going to talk about why I choose to do an electric fence. I know for some guys there's skepticism about electric fence on your food plot, just in the fact that it might deter deer from coming here during the fall if they're getting zapped during the summer by this electric fence. And I'll just go through some of the theory behind why I choose to use the electric fence. Okay, so first off, I got this solar panel off Amazon. Actually, everything that I'm going to be showing you guys I bought on Amazon. But you can get a lot of this stuff at your local Tractor Supply too, or Fleet Farm, things like that. But you want to get yourself a solar panel if you're going to go with a setup like this. I got the 30-mile cattle fencer here, which I like to go beefy on everything I do. Go big or go home, right? So I got the deep cycle boat battery, 12-volt battery, and then the 30-mile fencer, and I power it all with this solar panel. So this solar panel just goes through this black cord. You follow it down the post into this box. From this box, it just plugs in and alligator clips on. So that's going to charge my battery all summer. There's a second set of clips right here. Clip these on, obviously red and black, your positive and negative. Clip them on your battery, and then these will go back through this black cord right up to your fencer. And that's how you power your fencer. So once you get power back to your fencer, this dial will turn on. I'm going to run from my red here. I'll jump from this red knob over to my fence. And then from the negative on here, I got my copper wire, which just goes right over here onto my ground rod. Now I got to pound this into the ground yet. So don't leave yours up 4 feet. This is an 8-foot rod. I just got to pound that down into place. So that's my fencer setup I like. This year I am going with the white poly wire. I just think the deer will be able to see it a little bit better. I was using the aluminum strands of wire before that, and I had to hang ribbon on it because it was hard to see and the deer were running into it and breaking it. So this year I got the white poly wire. I think that's going to work a little bit better. It's sure nice and visible. I know some guys will put a second wire out 12 inches over and about 12 inches high and run it the whole length of your enclosure. That you can have success doing that. The problem is then you got to weed whip under 2 of these wires or spray and keep weeds down all summer. So I just went with 1 bottom wire, 4 total strands you can see, and this will keep the majority of the deer out. Probably won't keep every single deer out, but it seems like no electric fence keeps every single deer out. So as far as why I'm choosing to use an electric fence, am I worried that I might be scaring deer off my property, scaring deer away from my food plot? Yeah, that thought has crossed my mind, and I know some guys on YouTube will tell you you're crazy to put an electric fence up on your food plot. Why would you want to zap these deer and make them run away and when you're trying to just attract them back there later that fall? And I get that argument. That has weighed on my mind a little bit, but there's a couple things that made me stick with the electric fence. And the first is just that we've experimented with an electric fence before, growing pumpkins and around our gardens, and it just seems like the deer keep coming back. I don't know that it truly scares them off forever. especially in the summertime. Those deer just seem to be more docile than they are in the fall. And, you know, we have when we grow pumpkins, whatever it is in our garden, those deer will get zapped, and it's like, even if they're getting zapped, they'll still try to find a way in there. It doesn't make them run miles and miles. I've never observed that. I can't say that I've ever zapped a deer and it's never come back. All the bucks that I've had on camera the last couple of summers in velvet have stuck around for the fall during the rut, and I got those same bucks on camera during the rut hard-horned. So the other point on this is, if I don't use an electric fence, it really limits what I am able to plant here on my property. And, you know, I'm pretty much going to be limited to maybe clover, and cereal grains. If I'm not going to use an electric fence, I pretty much have to forego brassicas completely, turnips, radish, rape. And I could do that. You know, there's nothing saying you have to plant those things. There's a lot of other good food plot varieties out there and blends that work great. You know, I have a bunch of cereal grains. Actually, you can see it. You can kind of see it behind me here. See all that green? That's my winter rye coming back. And I'm using that as a cover crop in my cereal grain portion of the food plot. And I just don't want my whole plot to be winter rye and oats. You know what I mean? You know, would that attract deer? Does it attract deer? Yeah, absolutely. And I love my winter rye and my oats, and I wouldn't go a year without it. But I just have fun with this, planting food plots, and I like having the brassicas in here. That rye does stay green later, and you guys have all heard the benefits of rye and oats and cereal grains, and I love them too, but there's just something about having a great big purple top turnip out in your plot during, you know, Thanksgiving weekend, and you're going out with a muzzle loader and you know those deer are coming in to pound those turnips. That really gets me excited. And where I'm at, the deer just go nuts for brassicas, the whole brassica family. So I look at it like I'm willing to zap the deer a few times, zap their noses on these wires during the summer, if it means that I get to have a 5-star food plot for them come fall. I want my cereal grains over here, kind of wrapping around the outside of my plot for my early season and my browse tolerant portion of my food plot. But then behind me here, where I planted my buckwheat inside the enclosure, I'm going to do turnips in here for that peak rut and late season, you know, kind of peak rut, early November, bow and gun hunting. And then, you know, during the muzzleloader season, I want to have some turnips out here. I have made the choice for my food plot. I am going to opt to have the awesome food plot with turnips, with brassicas, with that really high powered attraction during the rut and the late season. I would rather have that than forego it and skip the electric fence altogether. So those are kind of my two main reasonings for why I choose to do an electric fence. If you choose not to, or you think I'm crazy, that's fine too. I know there's 100 different ways to skin a cat here with these food plots and attracting deer to your property during the fall. So pick whatever method works good for you. If it helps you sleep at night, not having an electric fence, do that. Anyways, just wanted to share with you guys my setup. Hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, take care, and I will catch you on the next one.